Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. My guest today is Tanvi Agarwal, who was with me on the show a few weeks ago, and she's joining me again today with her latest book, Spilled It Again, which is a poetry collection. I have read it and I really enjoy reading it. It's a collection of 100 poems, and we are going to talk about that book and also about her journey as an author so far. So do stay connected. It's going to be a really exciting episode. Let's wait for a few more people to join us. My guest is here. I'm going to add her and we can. Hi Shubham, thank you for joining. Hello Sameem. Hello Ramindranath Tagore Literature. Good evening everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. My guest is Tanvi Agarwal, and we are going to talk about her latest poetry book, Spilled It Again. Hi Nilshri, thank you for joining. Hi Nidhi. Tanvi Agarwal is the name of the guest of this episode's Author Collaborative, and she's going to join me in a bit to stay connected. Hi Tanvi, I have sent you an invitation. Hello.
Hello. After I guess 3, 4 sessions, this is the life when we are able to see each other.
Yes. For the last two, three sessions, I was not able to see the guest at all. It was feeling like I am talking to myself. But now, both of us are visible on the screen, finally.
Yes,
We
excited.
have a lot of people here already, and it's going to be a really good episode. So, Tanvi, welcome again. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm too excited this time. Last time I was nervous. This time I'm excited. Like both of our books are poetry. So yeah, it will be good to talk
Yes,
about each other's book.
I'm also very excited. And this is also for the very first time in the show that I have not only mine, but the guest who's here is also a poetry book writer. And the book that is in focus, they are both poetry books. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, same.
Okay, without further ado, let me just show your book cover to everyone before we start talking about the book in more detail. It's called Spilled It Again. And before I show the cover, I want to ask you my first question about the book cover. Tell me about how it came about. Because it's a very
Uh,
beautiful.
okay. Yeah, I also have the book.
Then we have the paperback and I have the Kindle. Yes.
Actually, the cover was just an imagination that was turned by the cover designer from the publisher itself.
Oh,
So, since the book has different themes, so based on those themes, as the name is Spilled It Again. So, in this Spilled It Again, I wanted to talk about emotions, how the emotions get
hmm,
spilled. So, I just gave them the different themes. According to different themes, I told like threads of existence.
hmm,
I gave them one word. Then comes journey within. So there is a girl who is
hmm,
walking out. Why she is walking alone? That is social anxiety because she is socially anxious.
hmm,
And the last one was it was a girl, like it was on a female character. Her story unveiled. So that's why the book cover has a girl instead of like random character.
okay.
So that was how I just like told them the description of my cover, and they turned up like that was the first cover they come up with, and I was like too much
Oh,
in awe of that cover. I was like, no, this is going to be the cover.
सही है यही चाहिए था
Exactly. Like for the cover of the first book, I designed that myself. That was not planned, but I did that myself. So that since then I am something like the cover should be according to my choice.
Hmm,
When I talked about the imagination of second book cover. Na, so there also they provided me two covers.
Hmm.
Okay, so the one cover was exactly to my imagination, but the other was something related to the title.
Okay.
But what I wanted was something different, so that came up as the cover. So this is something very, very much. I am very much obsessed with the cover of the book.
Quite understandable. And now, moving on from the cover to the content of the book, I'm going to read out a poem that is my personal favorite. It was difficult because you have written 100 poems, but this was like it stuck in my mind. And I have also written it in my review that it's my favorite. So I'm going to read that.
Yeah.
The poem is titled Sorry. In a world of flaws, limits are getting crossed and emotions are tossed. This balancing guilt and honor. Sorry, a word that flies like a bird, flying like a bird from tree to tree, leaving the tree set free. No remorse, no guilt, upgrading self. Saying sorry has become a way to overcome the weight of mistakes, leaving further situations at stake, ruining the smoothness and demeaning the essence. Sorry means nothing these days. Used to attain sympathy and praise. Say sorry and feel light, again ready for a flight of doing new sins and taking another chance. Saying sorry used to mean a lot and was a part of a lesson for not. Holding a dignifying position used to realize guilt with precision. Rarely flew out of the tree. This word was not that free.
Yeah, this is one of the poem I also like a lot. Like, can you see, like, no, you can imagine how sorry is treated these days.
Yeah.
So I tried to put all those things, how I received sorry. So that was something that came up in mind
And it
for this one.
shows, I mean, the feelings are coming out really well. And of course, I could also relate to it because we are not concerned about hurting the other person's emotions. We are just saying what you want to say and we are doing what we want to do without,
Exactly.
the consequences in mind. And just we think in our mind, sorry, बोलने के बाद में क्या फर्क
क्या
पड़ता है?
फर्क पड़ता है exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so since you have written 100 poems, and I have come across very few books where the such an exhaustive list of poems has been included. So my first question to you, specifically related to this book, is I want to understand your process of writing a poem. Tell us about the idea, the title, the theme, how it goes about. Take us through the entire process.
Okay, so if we are in general in right now talking about poetry, so I'll say when I write poetry, poetry comes within. I can't be restricted to write some things on poem. Even if I am taking a prompt poetry, then also I need to prepare my mind and I have to like explore my inner self
Hmm.
to know what I can write. So if I talk about topic or theme that comes from the surrounding, what is happening around, what is going within me,
Hmm.
or maybe a prompt poetry. I can take prompts from different competitions, challenges, all those are going on. And in this poem, all the poems are not from the recent times. Some are old poems as well. So earlier what I used to do, I prepared a list of topics that I'll write poem on this someday.
Hmm.
Based on that, preparing the list was very helpful for me to write different poems. But again, simply getting a topic or theme is not enough.
Hmm.
You have to come up with a creative title. You
Hmm.
can find like some titles are quite creative, some are like simple, like the sorry thing.
Hmm.
Sorry title is simple and straight. But some title, something like A Journey's Quest, one of my opening poem, that is the opening poem of the book.
Hmm.
So Journey's Quest. So that needs to be creative as well as straight. So we have to decide between the both, which poem should have which type of
Right.
title.
Exactly.
And then if I talk about the how many days it takes to write a poem, so it depends. Mostly it may take a day or it can be done in few hours or few minutes.
Hmm.
It all depends on the intensity with which I am writing. Sometimes what happens is like when I'm writing, I feel like I finish the poem.
Hmm.
But even at the end, I feel like I'll write more in this. But that someday never comes. The poem that has come to end, that is ended. Maybe when I'll go back someday and read it and realize I wanted to write more in this.
Yes.
So then it can become a process of writing a poem in multiple days. But as of now, what I have seen, I am able to write a poem not more than in a day. So that is something I keep writing poems. I don't push myself to write more poems, not just more than one. Maybe I can write one or two each day, but writing a number of poems in a day does not do justice to each poem. So that is something I try not to do that. Not just poetry, even each content. So many content challenges are going on. So I try to divide the time for them
Hmm.
so that I can give equal time and good focus to each of the content, not compromising the quality of any. So
Okay.
this is how I have written this book so far. Many of the poems are from the Naporimo 2023. That was from TMC. I participated in that, so there were 30 prompts. So I
Okay.
wrote 30 poems in them. So the poems that suited my title, I chose those poems for this book as well from there. So this is
So,
how I came up with this book, and I am again my obsession with 100. I'm not sure last book was having 100 chapters. This is having 100 poem. I don't know how far will I go with 100. So this is how I came up with this poetry book.
that's wow. And I totally agree with your point of not pushing oneself when it comes to writing. Not just poetry, I believe one should not force it in any form of
Any
creative
form
writing,
of
any
creative
form of
writing.
creative process. Yeah.
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, prompts do help. I usually rely on a prompt for most of my poetry also. I can totally understand that.
Okay.
Coming to my
Yes.
next question. Uh, so, okay. Yeah. Okay. Where is my question? I lost my question. Just a minute. Do you remember my second question to you?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Biggest learning or
Oh, yeah,
mistake?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I remember now. Yes. So, you have three books published now, and you have been writing and blogging regularly for a while. I want to understand from you what has been your biggest learning in your writing journey so far as a blogger, as an author, and what is that one mistake that you think you made earlier and would not make now?
Okay, so if I talk about first, let's talk about the mistake. Then we will
Hmm.
come to the learning because that learning is from that mistake itself.
Okay.
So the mistake was to find perfection, like seeking perfection in everything I do. Like let us, if I'll talk about my first book, I wrote that book. I did watermark for that paperback. I did watermark. I created manuscript. I created cover. Everything I did myself. And at the end, I could not somehow self publish that. So I had to go with the publisher. So that process was very like very now anxious for me. I felt like should I am not able to do it myself.
Hmm.
So at that time, that was something perfection. I was seeking perfection that I am not able to do. Though it was my first book, I could have been a little calm and learn more about that.
Hmm.
So that was something I have learned so far. Being patient and consistent with what you are doing will help you grow.
Hmm.
So mistake was seeking per- perfection.
Hmm.
Perfection will never come in a day or two or in year, but it will come with consistency and patience. You have to be consistent and patient with your writing because over time and with time, we can improve in our writing skills because I have received feedbacks on my writing, on the improvement, what I have done and what I can do. So that is something helping me throughout with my, like, this is my third book. So coming this far in knowing about what I can do better in my books. So that came with time and consistency and patience.
Yeah.
So that is how I learned through. It's been like 3 years that I have been publishing books. Blogging I started this year only, but it is going pretty much well. I have written more than 100 blogs of my own. I used to do freelancing earlier and wrote more than 200 blogs for that. But this year, from starting from April, I have written more than 100 blogs, and I have received feedback on those also. I take the feedback. like in a good way, in a positive manner or a positive critic, and try to improve on that.
That's wonderful, Tanvi. And I totally agree. You require a lot of time and patience and combined with consistency in order to keep growing as a writer or in
Yes,
whatever work you are doing. It's not just for writing. I believe in every work that you do. If you keep
it's
doing it
consistency.
consistently, you will keep getting better.
Yeah, I believe writing is a skill. Writing or any other hobby is a skill that can teach you so many things that will help in your professional life. As you just said, consistency and patience is required in every job that we do. So all these things can be learned with our hobbies or skills that we are pursuing as a sideways. So that if we will learn it that in that manner, na, it will be more enjoyable and help us grow professionally in a profound manner. So that
True.
is something a good thing to know and share with others.
I think we had a comment. Yeah, Nilshi was saying right, Tanvi. I think she was agreeing to your point about writing one poem, only one poem one day, not pushing one book.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. So that brings me to the end of my questions for you, Tanvi. Now the floor is yours.
Okay, so I would like you to show the cover of your book because I don't have a colored cover and her cover is pretty much very, very beautiful. So that needs to be revealed before the audience. So this is my black and white in my Kindle edition.
Knight in shining armor. Yes.
So the title of her book is Knight in Shining Armor. By the name of the book, many of you might have understood, like poems might be about the night time. So in this, there were two particular themes, facets and pursuits. One was about the nightly occurrences, one was about the other, I forgot that. The other was about encounters. Yeah, sorry for that. So I'm going to read the poem from her book that is Pajamas. So now please get ready with the pajamas, the most loved apparel of our. So it goes like this. The poetry form is eco verse. It goes like this. They guarantee a good nap. Nap. The comfort they provide is matched by no other cloth. Cloth. Cotton, flannen, linen, fleece or silk. Silk. Full, half, capris or shorts. Shorts adorned with bunnies, kitties, dogs, pandas or cats. Cats. They are with what we call it a day. Day. Ironically, something we only wear at night. Night. But given a choice, we would keep them on all the time. Time. So this was one of the poems. Like there were 55 poems, but her writing style and different forms of poetry made me like think twice before choosing which poem should I present before the audience. So this was one of those poems.
Yeah, and incidentally, this is one of the poems I had the most, not only the most fun to write, but it was also very challenging because I was trying out the poetry form for the first time, and also the topic is such कि तुम पजामा पे क्या ही लिखोगे.
No, no, these kind of topics are like quirky but enjoying. Like those who will read this poem, they will quite relate with them and they will feel it, what you are trying to say. Maybe some people will change the perspective of wearing it only at night. They will start wearing all the day.
I am sure there are people who do it all day. I also do it on some days. मेरे को कोई वो नहीं है, guilt नहीं है. I will admit that there are some days when I wear the pajamas for full days.
Me
But
too. Likewise, likewise. Actually, I just wish I don't have to go out today and I am in pajamas all the day.
exactly. Okay.
So, with this, I'll come to my questions for you. Since you have written this book with all the focus on different forms of poetry, I would like to know the process you followed while writing this poem. Since it has different forms of poetry, so how did you choose which poem should go with which form? Because mostly poetry is not restricted. First, we are restricting them to titles, and now you are trying to come up with different forms. So that takes a lot of determination and concentration. So how did you manage that? I would like to know that process.
Uh, for this particular book, so when I published my previous poetry book also, Mindful Musings and Peaceful Ponderings, which was last year, the same time, last August in 2022, I released my previous poetry book, which was Mindful Musings and Peaceful Ponderings. With that book also, I had wanted to try out different poetry forms. Somehow that didn't happen at that time because something or the other happened, and of course, because I have a particular, fondness of free verse, I ended up doing free verse only.
I can understand.
But this time I was determined to do. I want to go beyond my comfort zone. I want to try something new as a writer and give a new experience to the readers also because they have read my free verse poetry a lot. Not only on my blogs, in my books also they have read a lot of extract and free verse from me. तो इसमें कुछ नया करना था. But for this particular book, the theme came first, and then I had already decided कि अलग-अलग poetry forms को मुझे try करना है. For that, I had picked out two sources. There are two websites which I can share later on. I'm not remembering the names right now, but there are two websites where you can find more than 100 plus forms of poetry, and they have given an explanation with examples. So I was referring to those. So first I decided on the theme, and then I came upon the topics that I wanted to do as per the A to Z theme. Because I was participating in Blogchatter A to Z 2023. तो उसमें ऐसा होता है कि with each alphabet you have to write one particular topic or whatever blog post that you are putting for that day. So those topics became A to Z. The 26 poems out of the 55 in this, they are based on the A to Z theme. So those topics came after theme आया, फिर topics आया A to Z, and then when I was doing one poem every day for the A to Z challenge, I opened those two websites that I was referring to for the poetry forms, and then I matched the topic with those particular forms that were given on the website, and then I picked based on my mood. ऐसा कोई process नहीं था कि with this particular topic I won't want to do this poetry form or anything like that. Based on that particular topic and my mood, I combined the two and the poem came out. Of course, some poems took longer than others because they were very complex, and I was trying most of these poetry forms for the first time. So yes, some poems took longer than the others, but yeah, it was really fun because I was challenging myself.
Yeah, when I was reading your book, I read it as a reader as well as a writer. So I enjoyed reading it more as a writer because I was exploring new forms of poetry. Like many of them I didn't hear. So even there was one that took my notice, that was Nonet.
Yeah,
So
you
I
pointed out that there is some mistake in that.
Yes, yes. So I went to like check it out. Like there, Nonet. By Nonet, we can understand as an author or writer, I can know what Nonet can refer to because I was aware of sonnet. So I thought like I was actually I liked that poem a lot. So I was stopped by at that poem and that took my notice. Because of that reason, I just went through line by line. So that was something very good for me to read your book.
When are you taking a Odyssey challenge? I am not aware of what this challenge is.
Which
What is this challenge?
oh
Uh, so this is also
okay
was a phobia.
okay.
Uh,
He can send the link of that challenge and then we can think about it. Exactly. So that was about the first question. Let me come to the second question. How important do you think book covers and titles are in marketing and reception of the book?
okay, so based on my experience and understanding, I might not be true. ये मेरी सोच है, my opinion. I could also be wrong. A poem of 600 pages. Oh my God, that's what OTT challenge is. 600 pages. Okay. So I think I have gone up to 10 pages. Okay, beyond I have not written a longer poem, but this sounds very interesting.
It's like
If
one one poem of
yes,
600 pages.
yes.
Actually, I thought like 600 pages in total.
No, one poem goes on for 600 pages. So
I used to count lines of for checking my longest poem. So as far as I remember, I guess 52. 52 I remember. After that, one more I wrote. So that that was the longest poem that I remember. After that, I wrote one more that was beyond that. So 600 pages is like I have to think more than twice.
Yeah. And that's two poets saying that. So it's so difficult to.
Exactly,
Now it's
exactly.
like, yes, we'll do it.
So it will take me. I guess it will take me years handling my like current projects and work. It will take me years to finish it.
Homer, come on, you can't say. We know, and I have read poetry with you for such long, and I'm just saying that it might not be possible for me.
It is possible, but it will take years.
Yeah. फिलहाल तो नहीं. Yes. Okay. So coming to your question about the book titles and book covers. So based on my understanding, my opinion is that it really matters on where you are selling the book. If you are selling it online and you have a very limited audience, or you have an audience which won't go beyond a certain thousand numbers. So in that market, I don't think book covers matter a lot. But in offline market and bookstores and libraries, it matters a lot because that becomes your first selling point. And most people might not know your name, but they will pick up the cover based on the appeal and how good the cover looks. So in online markets, I don't think it matters much. In offline markets, the importance of a book cover increases, I think. बट इन बोथ द मार्केट आई द मेन थिंग इज योर कंटेंट. अगर तुम्हारा
Exactly.
कंटेंट अच्छा नहीं है और तुम्हारा बुक कवर बहुत अच्छा है, बुक टाइटल बहुत अच्छी है, nobody is going to recommend it to other people, and beyond the point you will not be able to sell. So first comes the content. Yes, book covers matter, but first you have to have a good content in the book. No, no, not at all. काम तो बिल्कुल ठीक है आप. I want to ask the same question to you. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to like let you finish. Like, what about titles? What do you think about titles?
Titles to see, my preference is that I want to play around with my titles. I want catchy titles. I want tongue twisters. I want titles which I can easily turn into catchy acronyms. So
Acronym. I know.
my process is completely different. But I don't think that has affected the sales or the kind of reviews that the books have gotten. Uh,
Hmm.
first, first definitely I work on the content, and title becomes secondary. But दोनों ही अच्छा है मेरा शायद. So that's why both of them are working well for me in tandem with each other. The titles,
Yes.
the covers, and the content all have been good, progressively getting better, is what I can say. So for somebody like me who's an indie author, maybe these three things matter equally. But for somebody who's not, as old or as new as me, somewhere falling in between where they're established also, and their content is going to sell, for them it won't matter.
Yeah. Coming to like for me, how does I feel? So far, what I have seen, I'll not just talk about my book. So far, what I have seen throughout, like there are best-selling books whose are not those that appealing, but their content and their title, the title says what may be inside.
Hmm.
So that content matters for those books to be sold out. So cover is something that people will pick when they see it, not just from online but offline. Offline touches like physical touches more than online touch. So it's like same as your answer. Like when we are selling online, that doesn't matter much. But when we are selling offline, that may matter. And but you have to come up with a good blurb and content so that even after seeing the cover, people do check the blurb.
They are going to
So
turn the, yeah, they are going to read
exactly.
the.
So that does matter. So again, like cover matters, but blurb should be that catchy along with that
Yeah.
because content तो वो बाद में पढ़ेंगे. Content content
Fine, it
content
will happen. Has it happened with you that you picked up a book because it has a beautiful cover and then you read the blurb and you were like, हाँ अच्छी ही होगी. बाद में पता चला ये तो कुछ क्या ही है.
Actually, अभी ऐसा हुआ नहीं है. Actually, I usually pick indie authors more. So I pick up the books those are in buzz,
Hmm.
so that I don't have to do injustice while I'm reviewing. Since being a reviewer, I have to be like what I say. I need to be justifiable with my review.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I just pick books very carefully because I try not to be someone who is judging any other person's book, and my book is not serving that thing. I don't want to compare their book with mine, but yeah, I am also not that renowned to judge anybody's book in that manner. So I try to pick up the books that are in buzz most of the time. And sometimes I take like those books are not in buzz. I sometimes take those books also, but they turn out very good for me.
Yeah.
So that is my experience so far.
In fact, since the lockdown, it has been my policy also that I pick indie authors more than I pick popular literature, and it has been a very good experience. I have come across some great indie authors in the past 3 years, and
Exactly.
yeah, and they have turned out better than the popular books actually.
Exactly, exactly. That happens. That happens a lot.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the long form Q&A. Now we shall start with my favorite part, which is the rapid fire. One question me, one question you. Do we
Okay.
have any questions from the audience so far? No? No.
Not yet.
Okay. You asked. You start first because one of the guests in my previous episode was like, guest आया है उसको पहले चांस देना चाहिए. You
That
do
was something
this
like
you do this every week, Manali.
I literally, if I tell you, I was thinking the same thing, but I'm not there. Like, I did not dare to tell you, like, guest is coming, you should give them the chance first. I thought, like, let it be. It's been followed, like, since time, so let's keep it the same.
Okay.
So, if I talk about my rapid fire, my first question is, what do you prefer? Although you have answered it in between, free verse or poetry with specific form? If specific form, then which one?
Specific form तो freeverse ही है and abstract. Abstract and freeverse is my favorite because I don't have to follow any rules. But having said
Yes.
that, I did enjoy writing and exploring new poetry forms when I witnessed that. So I am inclining more towards abstract, but I'm going to more towards this side also now.
Yeah, actually, same happens with me. Like, I just most enjoy is sonnet.
Hmm.
Sonnet is something, other forms I'm exploring. If I'll be able to write some, then I'll let you know what other what other form I'm trying, because it's being hard for me to come up with many of them. I can write once in a moon, like blue moon. So that is something like that.
Okay.
That genre, that poetry form is a little tough for me. So now
Okay.
your turn.
So now you have written three books: Surrounding Thoughts, Unreal Life Secrets, and Spilled It Again. If you had to pick one book, which would you pick and why?
Okay, that's a pretty much tough question. Because every time when I write book, I am like I find something special in that. Like the first one, Surrounding Thoughts, that was the first, and the first is always special.
Hmm.
Second was Unreal Life Secret, that is a non-fiction self-help book. That was
Hmm.
again special because there was a story at the end about my life that I was able to put it up in words. And now coming up with Spilled It Again. So this was something I wanted to achieve, 100 set of poetry in one book. So, but I have to choose one. I'll go with Unreal Life Secret.
Okay. Now you have to tell us why.
Okay, so that is what I said. Like that, the book that the 100 chapters as well as that bonus chapter. All the chapters are based on my experience and what I have gone through, or maybe some if I have put up in any short story in there or concept. So all those are from my experiences. So that leaves a like emotional touch in that book. So as you mentioned in your review, I remember it's like a friend that helps you and guides you in your journey. So that was something I was expecting with that book. So
I'm also happy you remember the exact words from my review.
yeah, actually, actually, two people did that, and I can't forget it because that was the main intention of that book to bring it. So that is something. But now I want you to answer this question because you have 8 books. So how will you justify each of your books selecting only one out of those?
I'm going to select the latest book only. So I have learned to answer this question nicely. I will always choose my latest book because it needs my most attention. In terms of
Right.
it's reaching the new market and
Hmm.
requiring promotion and all of that. So yes, it's for now it's Nisa. उसके बाद जो आएगी सब होगा.
It's like going for a job and saying somebody is asking what's your dream company, in which company you're trying for a job. This is my dream
This
company.
only, this only. यही है.
Exactly, exactly. This is like superb. That is the best answer we can receive for something that we want to put up in.
देखो दो दो पर्पस सॉल्व होते हैं. एक तो तुम्हारी बुक जो लेटेस्ट है वो प्रमोट हो जाती है. दूसरा ये ट्रिक क्वेश्चन का आंसर तुम जस्टिफाई कर सकते हो कि
Justify.
क्योंकि ये न्यूज है. इट्स माय न्यू बेबी. किसी भी मम्मी को पूछो तो वो यही बोलेगा ना कि जो बच्चा नया पैदा हुआ है छोटा है उसको ज्यादा अटेंशन चाहिए.
Yeah, I spend more time with it.
जो मैं तो भी बड़ा हो गया. इट कैन टेक केयर ऑफ इटसेल्फ. Yes.
To my second question, what is your favorite poetry collection? Like, have you read some from somebody like some famous or some indie author, the favorite collection out of anybody's?
No, I am not able to recall. Of course, I have grown up reading Shakespeare and Robert Frost and Emily Dickinson and all of that, all of those, and I love them. I mean, I can go back to them again and again. But over the last few years, since the Instagram boom, I must say, I am loving the poetry that is, shared on Instagram by contemporary poets like
Hmm.
myself and other people like Ashish Bagaita and all. I love this.
Hmm.
तो वो है मेन तो मेरे लिए अभी फिलहाल उस पे 10 पे चढ़ता है.
Okay.
Okay, my next question to you is my next question is from the 100 poems. This is a challenging question for you. Okay, from the 100 poems in Sia, which is spelled it again. I have this thing for acronyms. Please
Actually,
excuse.
I had that in my mind earlier as well. Like, it has acronym. See, it's a name. Like, that came up with that girl. Actually, when I saw that girl and I did the short form of the title, I was like, it is suiting the book.
So yes, we are going to call it Sia now. So from Sia, I want you to pick 5 titles without referring to the book. याद करो.
Okay.
5 in 5 out of the 100.
It's like 100. I usually don't remember many titles, but this time what has happened, like when I was like compiling my poetry book, I was like a very vulnerable. Like at that time, I was not carrying myself well to put up the books. So put up the poems in the book. So I remember few of them. Like when you mentioned that is sorry. The first one, the opening poem, A Journey's Quest. The
You are
from
going to
that
exclude sorry. You are going to exclude sorry. Okay,
I knew that you will say this.
yeah,
Okay, okay,
you have
fine,
named
fine,
it.
fine, fine. I still remember many. Sugar coated. Sugar coated was the poem like that was. I'll tell you the story behind it afterwards. Sugar coated. Journey's quest. Why are girls to be blamed? I guess yes. This is the right title. Are all questions made for girls? I guess this is the title.
ये titles are right. So,
Are all questions made for girls or? Mm, I don't remember the exact. Why to wake up? Actually, I just don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat in this because I. uh, it's like a wrong wish of childhood that came true, adulthood. And this food. Okay, okay, fine, fine. I don't want to. I don't want to jumble
I put you through enough stress. हो गया.
more. Yeah, out of what I mentioned, I could have recalled one, two, and three. Others I for others I forgot. Like are all questions made for girls? There was that was also one title, so that was also correct. So I guess six.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, uh, my turn. What is your dream destination for writing?
Dream destination for writing. Wow. When I first went to Venice for the first time, I was not yet a writer then, but I love that place. And in fact, when I went to Kerala also, so these are two places that are very beautiful. And out of all the places that I have traveled to, these are the two places I love the most. And I have never not written there anything so far. So yeah, either of these two, कोई writing retreat हो जाए तो अच्छा लगेगा.
Nice, nice. That's good to hear. I usually prefer like I have been to Kerala also. I have not been to Venice, so I don't know about that. But in Kerala, that's pretty much beautiful. The beaches are very much clean and all that stuff. So Kerala is somewhere one will be interested to enjoy the writing retreat and mount mountains is another destination to write good stuff, I guess.
Okay, so we should go to Kerala together then.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to hang out with you.
Okay. My next question to you. Now this is related to what you have read of mine. पहले तो मैंने तुम्हारे book से related पूछा. Now I want to know related to my book. Out of Ellen MD and Nisa, which one would you pick and why? So Ellen MD is Love and Melodrama, which was the novel, and this Nisa is Knight in Shining Armor. For the people who don't know.
This time, this is not a trick question for me. I'll definitely go with the poetry one because I don't read much of rom-com, but I told you earlier also your book was something different than in general rom-com that I have read before. So that was good, but I'll go with Nisa. As I told you, like that is the book I'll go again and again to read and explore more themes because I can tell you, I still remember the story of LNMD. I just remember that the most favorite part of mine, the end part, that stage
Yeah.
activity that happened. So that I remember. I don't have to read it.
उसमें भी तुम्हें poem ही पसंद है.
Can be said like poetry is some like my comfort. What we can say, comfort genre. Is
Yeah.
there something like that?
Okay. Nice.
So coming to my next question for you. Which one is your favorite book out of the books you read in 2023 till now? Like you have read a lot of books. You have a very big target. I know 125 books you are going to read this year. So not mocking, not mocking. I know you can do it. I know you can do it, and I guess you have done 60 or 70%. I don't remember exactly. 75%, yeah. So 25% will be done soon. So which was one of the favorite books of yours?
So I'm going to go with two genres which I have read the most and which are my almost, top favorite. Romance and thriller. So in thriller, Good Girls Guide to Murder by I'm forgetting the author, but yeah, that A Good Girls Guide to Murder and Rock Paper Scissors. These were the two in thrillers that I really like. Off the top of my head, I'm able to remember these two. मतलब कुछ तो अच्छा होगा तो मुझे याद है.
Exactly, exactly. We cannot remember every book, but the books that leave long-lasting impression, we can remember them
Yes.
for a longer
So
time.
yeah, Alice Feeney and Holly Jackson's book. Perfect. Good Girls Guide to Murder and Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. And the second romance genre, I forgot. But yeah, I can say that Alicia Kay's books are always good. And the latest one which she released, that was one of my favorites. I think Bad Girl series का book 2 था वो या book 1
Okay.
था. so by Alicia K. And another one was Dating Dr. Dil by Nisha Sharma. That was also really good. In
Okay.
fact, it was a major inspiration for the romantic scenes in my books also because I learned a lot from that book.
I'll come for
And
recommendation after this session to you for the books because the names you are telling me, I have seen those names, but I haven't read those books because these books again. I'm saying that I keep seeing the books, but still I wait for some time, more time. I take more time to choose them. So I'll come to you for the recommendation.
Dating Dr. Dil and first book in the Bad Girl series by Alicia K. These were the top romance recommendations from this year.
Okay.
Okay, my next question to you is any of your poems from the 100 books in Sia, is it inspired from a book, a movie, or a series? Which one is it and what was the inspiration?
Actually, if I say about movies or series, I don't preferably watch many movies or many series, so that won't align with that. If I talk about book, book also, I don't remember if I have taken any inspiration from any particular book, but I have taken prompts that have come across. So prompt poetry is there, but not exactly from any book or any movie or any series. So that is how I. But yeah, because of this question, I may start finding inspiration from movies if I see any series if I see any or the books that I'll read. Definitely, I'll try to find an inspiration for writing my next poetry.
That brings me to my follow up question. Now that you have said that none of them are inspired from a book or a series or a movie, so is there any particular poem that was like immediately after a personal experience you wrote it down? I know that most of the poems are based on our
Yes, yes,
personal
yes,
experiences.
yes, 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 yes.
Was there any one particular poem that वो experience हुआ और तुमने तुरंत लिख दिया?
Exactly, like most of the poem are from that only. Like when I feel, I just put it down. I can't manage not putting them. Recently, I can give you recent account as well. I was being asked. I generally get asked the question. I am asked the question, how do you manage all these things together? So I was like pissed off with this question. This was being asked frequently, recently. Recently, many people ask that again and again. So I just wrote a poem on that. How do I manage all these? So that was that was something I was like, I have to do it. I can't explain them. I can't yell at them, but I can put them in words. So in my book, my many poems are like from personal experience, and after that I have written that. Sometimes what happens is I am trying to sleep, and there is one poem going in my mind. If if the intensity was high, so I remember it till the morning and I'll pen it down. Otherwise, it's washed off with the night. Like new day, new poem, new idea. So if given a chance, I would like to rent out that poem. How do I manage all that?
Sure. Please do.
I'll just I thought I'll get a chance, so I just sent it on my email too. Like I can
It's
recite it.
always poetry reading is always welcome.
Yes. So the topic goes like this: how do you manage all this together? I wake up early with the birdie, take some time to work out with chime, refreshed to start the day, enchanted and full of gay, stealing time from hectic routine to avoid much of struggle, right when I feel like so that I can strike, when the time is right, not all days are bright. I have my lows and highs, so discipline is what I admire and preach with the precision to decide the plan for the big task. To change each mask of my personality with an absolute ability. Sometime I am a developer, others I may be a writer. So you can also find me as a podcaster. I can rise like an artist too. But yes, I know I can choose what I desire and aspire, making time for my fitness and also to rejuvenate and express, to keep my inner soul going and that positive energy flowing. Now, do you know how I manage it all? So that was something I just, one morning I started like writing it. I was not able to end it. It was going and on, and I was thinking, how far will I go? But somehow I came to end. I could stop my emotions from drooling on.
But it was a good one. You answered it well. Okay, your turn.
Okay, this is, I guess, my last question. What does poetry mean to you?
Poetry,
Since we are talking about
poetry
poetry.
is my outlet. Poetry is therapeutic for me. It's my creative outlet, most favorite creative outlet, I must say. So, like, if I don't understand anything in my life, I know that poetry will come to me naturally. और कुछ समझ में आए ना आए, poetry is
Exactly.
one thing that I will understand and relate to, and something I can rely on. So it's like a friend.
This is something I can definitely resonate with. Like, I too feel something. See, I just pen down or type in poetry when I feel like when I'm not feeling good. I don't want to talk about things. I just pen down them, or maybe type in my phone. These days, phone is very handy to type all your things. So, WhatsApp chat is there to send yourself messages. So I write there. I can only see that.
Yeah, that's a very good feature that WhatsApp has come up with. You can message yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, so my last question to you now. Any particular poem from the 100 which was the toughest to write, and why was that? Hello? There is some connectivity issue. Please stay connected. We have lost Tanvi's connection. I guess there is some technical glitch. I will add Tanvi again. Please stay connected. We are not done with today's live yet. Only the last few minutes are remaining now. We are almost at the end of today's episode. It was a fun chat. Do stay connected. Hi Namita. We are at the end of today's episode, and my guest for today had some technical issue. I'm waiting for her to rejoin so we can end today's episode. Only one question is remaining. Hi Tanvi, are you there? You are here. Please accept my invitation. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I am sure Tanvi will be able to join us in a few minutes. We are already at the end of today's episode, so please have patience. Only one question is remaining, which is the most interesting question in my opinions. It's going to be interesting to listen to Tanvi's response on that question. Do stay connected. Yes, Insta giving trouble as usual. We had a smooth flowing episode so far, but Insta had to, you know, oh god. It was such a wonderful episode so far. We were having fun. There was no problem. And now, towards the end of the session, it is giving some problems again. guess Tanvi is not able to join. There must have been some issue. She's not in the list of viewers also. I will wait for a few more seconds, and then if she's unable to join, we'll end today's episode here. Please take it for a bit. I'm trying to get in touch with her. Still here. We're just going to wait for her to just off my video. I'm still here. He's here again. Let's join. Here. Hello.
Manali, can you see me?
I can't please causing a lot of problems.
Actually, yeah, I can see you now. Extremely sorry. Thanks for waiting. Actually, some network issue came up. Everything was going good. Actually, it was not good since morning, but the whole session was going smoothly and somehow it broke.
Towards the end, something had to happen like this.
It was your turn to ask me the last question, I
Yeah,
guess.
it was the last question. I was telling the audience also that only one question is remaining. Please take.
I just salute you for keeping the audience there while so many glitches Instagram is doing with us while on live.
Yeah, because this was also one the toughest poem to write from the entire collection in Sia. You have written 100 poems in the book. So, which was the toughest poem to write for you, and why was that?
Okay, toughest. So there can be, as I told, like some poems are written in few minutes, few hours, but some can take a whole day. So, but there is one poem that I feel was the toughest to come up with into words was commit suicide and be the murderer. Like it is a very sensitive topic, so I was very much confused whether to put it into words or not. But at the time when I wrote this, so many suicides were happening and so much drama was there. People were not exactly drama, but sadness was spreaded around everywhere. People were doing suicide and their families were suffering. So I thought to give it words. That was the most challenging part for me to highlight this part with sensitivity along with giving the proper message. So that was something I tried and came up with something.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the today's Q&A. Before we end the session, I have an idea. Why don't we end by reading one more poem from each other's book?
I love to read because as I told,
Hello.
hey Nishi, hi.
Hi.
Hello, how are you guys? मैंने थोड़ा देखा, but then I went to order food on Swiggy, तो फिर I left. Okay.
Can understand that how kids can be.
Oh God. Yes.
Yeah, so I was just telling Tanvi that unlike every episode, this time we are going to end by reading one more poem from each other's book. I have my poem ready, so I'm going to read out first from your
Okay.
book, which was my second favorite after Sorry. This is Never Wanna Get Back, and it goes: bag lying vacant on the floor, screaming it to fill it with cheer, and get back to one's place. Reluctant to pack luggage, dreaming of long-lasting memories created, lived here. Trying to gather stuff, good times struck, letting me pause for a while, thinking of what I am, leaving behind so far, striking right my heart. Instead of packing necessities, I would rather prefer taking sweet sour memories. Instead of missing, I would love to cherish being here, pondering how nature glows. Moreover, the journey is never ended. New experiences are yet to be explored. Cozy winters are also ready to uproar. Never want to get back. The place has more to collect. How would I take my time?
So this poem I wrote while I was leaving college, I guess, because winter and everything is coming up. So this reminds me of my college. So that was the best days I can say because I lived in mountains for more than 3 years. I live in Uttarakhand, but I never went to mountain before that. That was my first time to go to mountains, and that too for 3.5 years because COVID happened. So we have to come back in the final half. Last semester was at home.
And it connects really very with me because I feel like this when I have to pack every time. It's not just about going home or coming back home or anything
Hmm.
like that. But going from a place where I have lived for long and then coming back to wherever I'm staying. This happens to me with every travel.
Yes,
Any place I
exactly.
go to, I get connected so to, and I am like, "ये इतनी सारी memories बना ली अभी I don't want to go back." Something like that happens with me. So I was able to connect very well with this poem.
Exactly. Like leaving places is not that easy, but we have to leave for some or other reasons.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I'll go with the second poem from your book, that is Heaven and Earth. Its poetry form is your favorite, abstract, and my favorite too. How you tease us like this, not showing up when we crave your sight the most. It's not fair on your part to make your admirers wait such. But then it's okay, I guess, because in doing such a peekaboo, you teach us patience and not being available at the drop of a hat whenever someone calls for us. As they, as then they would take for granted. Dear Eid and Karwa Chauth ka Chand, you are just as wise as you are beautiful. One full, one less than half. See, I keep getting lost in the rhyming of the poem. I read what I want to read. Yet fulfilling similar tasks for the onlookers. You enlighten both literally and intrinsically. Being there matters. Showing up is important even when you are late, even if your presence is not 100%. Stay heavenly. See what I did there from your earthly Afikando.
Yeah. I particularly like that line from the poem where
Dear Eid and
it says,
Karwa Chauth ka chand.
"Dear," and then one full and one less than half.
Actually, this we see, like I have seen my mother, my grandmother, my aunts waiting for the moon, and many of my friends who are married. So I see like the wait is worth it.
Yeah.
They have
The
to
way
wait.
it is, the way it is agonizing and sweet, both
Yes.
combined.
So that is something I like in that.
Okay. Yes, that brings us to the end. Any questions you have for us, Nilshi, for being our special guest?
Okay. So being special guest, I want you guys to be successful, and I appreciate both of you doing the Navratri Vlog Challenge so seriously. Manali, your stories in particular. Tanvi, ka, I think genre ऊपर नीचे आगे पीछे चल रहा है, but I'm reading everything. But I'm reading everything. So yes, and keep up your good work. This was a nice surprise, by the way. I was planning to come live at 10 p.m. today on Arthropod handle because many
Oh,
people have questions related to the letter activity that we have
okay.
announced. So
I also
yes,
have. Why
yes,
why
yes.
is it only for Indian residents?
हम हैम्पर नेदरलैंड भेजना अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते.
Oh, okay, okay. I got it.
That is the main
I read
reason.
this whole thing and I got so excited that that last line was like
And
only for
last,
India.
You know what? When I read that last line, I was thinking Manali will come up with that. Why not outside India?
I had this already in mind कि अगर मनाली ये question, because the only person who would be interested in participating, I thought शायद ये question मनाली को आएगा. So I was thinking कि I'll keep a backup ready कि मनाली आपके इंडियन एड्रेस पे हम भेज देंगे ना hamper, if at all chance कि आप जीत रहे तो we
मैं
will
actually
ship it to your
I'm
Indian
going to
address.
participate if if it happens कि मुझे मिले हैम्पर तो आप इंडियन एड्रेस पे भेज देना. वैसे तो बहुत सारे लोग कंटेंडर्स होंगे.
हाँ हाँ.
But
There
that
are.
is a fair choice. That is a fair choice for Manali because she has an option for getting it parceled at her Indian address. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yes, yes. For you that option is there. और बाकी के लिए मैंने वो हाईलाइट करके स्पेशली रखा है कि जिनका मुझे पता है for poetry prompt these days we are getting many foreign authors who I suppose would be interested. तो भाई पहले हैम्पर का हमने जुगाड़ बहुत मुश्किल से किया. अब शिपिंग का कहाँ से करेंगे इसलिए तय कर दिया.
Yes.
Yes, that's critical.
This is so fun.
Okay.
Nilsi coming to the live added more liveliness to it. No?
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Thank you both of you and special thank you to Tanvi for coming as a guest for the second time. Nilsi दूसरी book लिखो तो मैं आपको फिर से बुलाऊंगा.
It is in process. I hope you get to call me जल्दी से. फिर again it will be like you and Tanvi only कि दो poetry books की बात हो रही है. Maybe probably. Let us hope that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you both of
Okay.
you for joining me. It was a
Thank
Yes.
lovely
you for
session.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.